Hello guys, welcome back to Frabasis channel. Tonight we have again our legendary player Decclesia securing another top cut in the latest online regionals, getting 13th place with blue BT30 Bulma. Decclesia, first of all, do you want to tell us your matchups?
Yes, hello. We played 5 rounds today. On the first round, I played against Black Eos from BT31 against Daniel, who's a very good player. On the second round, I played against the new green Gogeta SS4 from BT31 against Prince of Arkham. He was a bit unlucky, but he's a good player as well. Maybe we'll go into matchup specifics after the deck list.
Mhm.
On the third round, I played against Sorum, who played Rihan. He was a really good player, very skilled with the deck. I bricked as well, and I lost that one. On the fourth round, I played against Brad Jonesy, who has pioneered the Goku Android 18 deck with the new support. I lost as well on this match. We went into overtime and I had less life, so it didn't matter if we continued on. But it was a grind fest, and he's a very good player, so I would probably lose that one. And on the fifth round, the opponent decided not to play, didn't want to play anymore, so we didn't play that much. So my final score was 3-2, and I got into the top 16th, placing 13th in the end.
Alright, let's go through the deck. So your three costs at first. You have some explaining here or just standard ratios?
Do you want to start with the leader?
Sure.
Yeah, so Bulma is a 5k unawakened and 10k awakened leader, which is below the standard. But she makes up for that with her effects and her engine. She's very restrictive because you can't play non-earthling battle cards in your deck. So that kind of limits your options both on offense and defense. It also could potentially make the deck kind of predictable defensively, as your opponent knows that you don't have access to several blue staples like defending friends. Um, so what the leader does is she draws you a card, and you can also take life if you want. And you awaken at 6 by drawing a card, which isn't a lot, but it's fine. So once you awaken, as long as you have 7 or less energy, when an Earthling is removed from your battle area by skill or AKO, it goes into your energy rested, and it becomes a true energy. So you can ramp up pretty quickly with this deck if you play your cards well. And it's the goal of this deck to reach a high energy count as quickly as possible, and then manage it offensively and defensively. So you draw when an Earthling attacks, and her activate battle skill is the heart of the deck. So you can place one of your blue energy from your energy area at the bottom of your deck and give plus 15k one of your blue Earthlings. That's kind of a lot. You can remove 2 cards from your energy and boost an attack by 30k. Defensively, this complements her well because she's a low-powered leader but can stand her own. And also, you can threaten lethal quite significantly with your cards. And just by swinging, you can boost an attack to insane numbers. You also kind of deter your opponent from going all in if he's playing hyper aggro, because they can't spend their whole hand, because you can get out by spending your energy, which most of the times you can afford to do. Um, so yeah, we'll get into more specifics as we look at the cards, I guess.
Mhm.
Hmm.
So these are
Okay.
the three costs. Do you have something specific to say about them?
Yeah, so Yamcha, he's a card that is played from energy at activate battle timing. He becomes the new attack card when played. He taps himself, goes in, attacks for double strike, and then he can attack once again for double strike. His base is 20, but with the leader he can be boosted pretty significantly. Um, he's good for aggroing early decks that can take it and finishing games swiftly, or if your opponent just doesn't block a small swing because most of your units have low power, you can just convert that into a double strike, which is always scary as long as he's in your energy.
Yep.
The other Yamcha, he's a counter attacker, a counter attack card, should I say? You place one of your engine drop and play him, negating the attack. So it's just the free negate of the deck, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So Master Roshi is a dual attacker. He costs 3, but he can be played for just 1 if you have Bulma on your field. So you have 6 targets in this current deck build for Bulmas, which you can actually um, pretty much deploy on your field on demand, to be honest. So Master Roshi, when he attacks, he bounces an opponent's card to hand, battle card to hand. He's one of the easy things to side out. He's mostly useful for the green matchup because you need a way to get rid of Goku counter, so you can bottom take your opponent's card, and this is your out by returning it to hand.
Mm-hmm.
It's also pretty good at just pressuring because he can become a 30k its attack, but he's definitely one of the easier side out targets. He did come up today into the green matchup I had, and he did exactly what I said he's good at doing. So I'm pretty content with this, but I did side him out quite a lot as well.
So you used him to counter the silver bullet.
Well, yeah, you can't play cooler in this deck. The one that you draw to pitch one that
Mm-hmm.
bounces. So he's not an Earthling, so you have to play this,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what. So the one cost Bulmas, the one we play at 2 copies is actually the one that gives blocker to your Earthlings. You choose up to 3 of your other Earthlings except for her, and they gain blocker until the end of your opponent's next turn. And at the start of your opponent's turn, she restands all of your Earthlings. This is a pretty powerful card. You can make your whole board essentially into a blocker, which goes into your energy when KO'd. So your opponent really has no way to deal with that. Thing is that, as we're gonna see later, she can be played off the Hoi Poi capsule spell. So you can play this during your opponent's turn. So if, let's say, you have some units already active or down, or you played like a counter-attacking unit that goes in, you can then activate battle timing, play her, and give those played counter-attacks blocker as well. So it's pretty powerful, but since you can play her both from deck and drop repeatedly, you don't need any more than 2 copies. And she's not useful at every given situation. Moving on, we have the other one cost Bulma. To activate main and activate battle timing, you can essentially place her in energy to recover one of your spells with 0 cost from your drop to your hand. She's on demand ramp, on demand power essentially, and also recurving your used spells, which is removal and tempo.
Mm-hmm.
She's pretty good. She's one of the ones that you use most of the time in order to ramp up. Chichi is the best card of the deck. She has deflect, and when attacking, you play a 1-drop unit from your drop with its skills active and everything. So you can just do insane things with her. She also can place one of your other units into your energy to restand herself at limit 1. So if she goes for 2 swings, let's say you boost her with leader as well, you can attack 2 times for 30k and revive 2 cards from drop with their skills live. She can also do things like return your Yamcha double striker to energy after he's done attacking. She's pretty good. She also complements well the Goku Z battle card, which is your game ender and big boss. It's an insane card. The opponent needs to get rid of this, honestly, however way they can. Then we have Wulong and Puar, which are your 1-drops that search your deck and draw you a card on play, your cantrips essentially. Both of them can place themselves in energy in order for you to revive a 1-drop. So that's either going to be Bulma or Pilaf Sumai with their skills negated for the turn, but their skills will be live during your opponent's next turn. So they make themselves into an energy to give you a body. It's pretty nice. Su is a super combo, the new one that was printed, the 1 at 4 life bottom deck 1 draw 2. It's an earthling, so we can use it. There could be an argument here about playing some other super combo. There's a Gohan one, for example, that's just draw a card at 4 life. There are some options, but the argument here is whether you want to have a higher power base for them, because like that Gohan is 15k instead of 10k. That could be relevant into matchups like when you need to play around explosive dance and stuff like that. I don't really think I would do a split of the super combos personally, but you could mix and match depending on your liking. You can't play any non-earthling super combos though, just keep that in mind. So the 2 spells of the deck, the self-defense is a limit 1 act main. If you have an earthling, you place one of your engine in your drop. You bottom deck one of your opponent's battle cards and you draw 2 cards. It's pretty insane. You can on demand place on your drop the cards that you want to revive with your Chichi or Oolong and Puer. And it's one of the cards that can be picked up by the 1-cost Bulma. So essentially, with tiny setup, you can every turn draw 2, bottom deck 1. Even if you don't bottom deck anything, it's a pretty nice plus engine that fixes your drop situation and whatever you need. We play it at 3 because we want to see it, even though it's recoverable. We could play this at 2, but I feel like it's the card I want to hard draw as well. And Hoi Poi Capsule we play at 2 because even though it's useful, I found myself not wanting it in my hand that often. And it's recoverable, so I'd prefer to have 3 self-defense or even maybe 4 self-defense and 2 Hoi Poi. The original split was 3-3, but I changed it for today into 3-2. I should say that I've been on Bulma since it came out. I didn't play her as much during the previous regional season because Boo had a crashing matchup with Bulma. You couldn't really defeat that deck. So there was no reason in playing Bulma when everyone was playing Boo. So I played Boo as well during that season. And we had some top cuts with Boo, but none with Bulma. At least we got the W today, and I'm pretty happy to represent the deck. So back to Hoi Poi. Yeah, the split right now I think is pretty perfect. I'm happy with it. Hoi Poi Capsule, what it does is activate battle. You place one of your urns in your drop, and you choose one of 3 effects. You either play a 1-cost Bulma from your deck, you either play a 1-cost drop, doesn't have to be Bulma, or you give 30k power, but only during your opponent's turn. So it can be a defensive measure, essentially doubling what your leader does in terms of power by placing an energy in drop. You mostly use this as a battle trick during your turn or your opponent's turn to bring out the Bulma that gives out blocker, or at a pseudo negate Like if you don't have energy up to play Pilaf Sumai, you can just play Pilaf Sumai from your drop with this. Depending on the situation. So yeah, I think the split is fine as it is. Let's move on to Virus Destroys. Yeah. So I played two of these. The thing is that it does get rid of some things like Black Mask Saiyan or maybe some other annoying things the opponent might play down. You don't really care for them, to be honest, that much, so you don't need this card. You mostly are going to use this to remove something during your turn that has a greater energy cost than your opponent's mana total.
Yep.
Because the thing is that right now, not many things have barrier except for if your opponent is playing yellow. So you can find uses for this. Plus, you have to keep in mind that if you swing, you give 10k with Beerus Destroys, and then you can use the top energy for another 15k. So it's a pretty good pressure and aggro and ender card, extender card for your aggro swings. You can definitely side this out depending on the matchup. If you know your opponent has something troublesome that has barrier, you can probably side this out. But I think 2 is pretty fine as it is right now. It worked out for me. I was testing out either 2 Beerus and 2 Ultra Instinct Kamehamehas or 1-1 split. I found that the Ultra Instinct Kamehameha wasn't as good or necessary. I didn't like it very much, but you can try using it. If you want to go Ultra Ugly, you can play 2 and 2. But yeah, the higher or the longer the game takes or the higher skill your opponent is, you can't really sit out a win and dump everything into a double strike. It's not gonna come up that much, and you probably won't need it. So I cut the Ultra Instinct, just keeping the Beerus Destroys. So Pill of Sumai, I don't even need to explain this card. The thing that you need to be aware of with this card is that negating an opponent's keyword skill won't get you far as in other blue decks maybe, because you're mostly gonna play this during your turn, which is pretty powerful, don't get me wrong. But you can do insane combos like negating indestructible and then bottom decking something, or negating barrier and removing it during your opponent's turn. This deck doesn't have those kinds of plays. So Pill of Sumai is a good thing to play, but you're mostly going to revive it from drop and use it to tax your opponent's combos or pressure. Yeah. So Prospect, it's one of the best negates for blue right now, and the only flat gate, not the only flat gate, but the only actually easy to play flat gate in Bulma. Thing is that I run it at 4 here, but it's the thing that you can side out as well depending on the matchup, depending on if your game plan revolves around playing a unison or not, or if you know what your opponent is going to play. If they play low costs, this card is useless anyways. If they have a lot of hand, they're gonna like grind their teeth and attack through it. So I played at 4 just as a blanket and switching it around depending on the matchup each time. It's also searchable, right? So yeah. Yeah, 2 Wish Coercion. We no longer have the magic. I used to play 2 the magic in Bulma, so now I play 2 Wish Coercion. Could this card be cut? I felt okay with it today. Senzu, you gotta play this card right now. Bulma doesn't need that much active energy during your opponent's turn, to be honest with you, but buffing up the leader's base to 15 to normalize the playing field adds a lot of defensive punch to your leader skill, and then you can combo it with other cards like Protector of the People, that can make your leader really hard to poke. So you can go into Senzu and then keep up your mana for Protector or whatever engage you may have. Plus, because you do stuff during Activate Battle, you kind of want to interact with your opponent during combat, so Senzu is good for doing that as well. There are also some things on the side that complement Senzu, but we're gonna look at that a bit later. Yeah, so we're now playing one of the Unison CR Ultimate Warrior Gogeta,
It's very
right?
interesting.
So yeah, this card is insane, to be honest.
Mhm.
3 energy is nothing for Bulma to play this out. When your opponent plays a card, you give this thing revenge and restand an energy. +1, you remove something, ignoring barrier, you bounce it to hand. True, you don't bottom deck it, but doesn't really matter. And -5, you deal damage. So, oh yeah, it also has like double strike. So, um, this is an insane pressure tool. The reason why I'm playing one copy of this is that I don't have a second copy of this at the moment.
Hmm.
You could probably play up to 2 or 3 of these. I'm not really a fan of. I wouldn't probably play 3 of these, to be honest. I'd probably play like 2 of these. Um, the thing is that the deck list is 51 cards right now, so I've optimized it a lot. And you draw a lot as well, so I don't feel like you need a dedicated searcher for the Unison, even though there is one. That there's a Gohan that like also searches Earthlings and Unisons, but you draw so much from this deck, and you don't even really need to play the Unison early. Like, you're not the Unison merchant deck with Bulma. It's just a very complementary thing for her, and it's a pretty powerful card. She can utilize it pretty freely, so there's no reason not to play it, to be honest. Yeah, the secret of choice is Pan. She's an Earthling. We can play her. Her cost is reduced, so her negate goes through. She doesn't have her other skills, but she's a beat stick. There is an argument to be made about playing the Wicked Saiyans counter attack ultimate that removes things. I kind of feel like Pan is a bit better for me personally. I like having an extra body out of nowhere and closing out my opponent's turn. Uh, I also feel like she's more useful. Having a battle card is more useful than having an extra sometimes.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, but it's my secret of choice. You could also play the Bulma secret. It's not bad by any means.
Yeah, I think
I
this.
just yeah.
I think this
Also
secret.
compliments like Blue's lack of defensive tools. You can't play the magic anymore. You can't play defending friends in this. This is an extra free floodgate.
Yeah, I think it's been pretty established to be maybe the best secret rare for this deck.
Yeah, most people with results play this or the Wicked Saiyans. Mostly
Mhm.
this though. Yes.
Okay, let's go to the side deck or the Z deck first.
Let's go to whatever you want. Side deck. Okay.
Let's see the side deck first.
All right. So
So I mean, there
shit.
some interesting choices I see here.
All right. So you have to understand that your choices are limited because Bulma restricts you. So there's not a lot of battle cards that you can side in. Um, you can play Unisons in this deck though. So hit. It's a pretty powerful Unison. It essentially costs 4. You pay 4 to buy your attempt at winning the game. Essentially, you
Mhm.
flip your leader to its unawakened side, and they can't awaken during the next turn. This is an insane effect in the mirror, for example. This can be an insane effect depending on the matchup. It's pretty matchup dependent. I wouldn't like when side the scene just to play it down and have it down and hope it survives. I'm probably siding the insane in the hopes of playing it, already activating its minus, and paying an extra 2 to attempt going for game. Um, yeah, so the thing is that it minus is 1, right? Can you click on the card just to make sure?
It doesn't.
Oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's
Uh,
-1, it's not -2. Yeah, so this unison will survive even if you do its effect. You're still gonna have your unison in the next turn, right? So it's not that bad. But it's trying to kill very specific decks that have annoying awakening effects or very restrictive unawakened sides. Very much specific. It didn't come up today. But yeah, it's pretty brainless not to play this. It's a no-brainer to have this in the side.
Mm-hmm.
So Pursuit of Power, you you only play this because of the second minus effect. It's your removing something, ignoring barrier. You don't have many options to do that in blue. Well, now you also have the concept unison, which is a better form of this card, albeit a bit different because it doesn't bottom deck. But this one also removes something with greater energy cost, so it's kind of more restrictive. It's a pretty neat card. Its other effects sadly are not live, except for the marker gain, but you don't really care for that, to be honest. So yeah, it's like a 2-cost removal ignoring barrier, essentially, right now.
Yep.
Okay, so this card. In the previous format, I didn't like this card. Right now, I think this card is quite better, simply because not many things have barrier. So you play this for 3, you draw 2, you bottom deck something. The untapping thing is nice. It can leave you with probably 3 energy off because you've also played some Unison that restarts energy, or some Z-Bodyguard that restarts energy, or your Unison CR restarts energy. So you can reach a high active mana total. You don't really care that much about the second effect, to be honest, but you can make this a 30k base attacker that you can boost further. In matchups where I don't care about bouncing cards with my opponent's hand, I probably side out Rossi for this. I did put this in the deck today. I didn't get to play. I did get to play this once, but how did it die? It got some sort of counterplayed. I don't remember what it was. But yeah,
Mm-hmm. So
card is fine.
it came up, but it didn't work.
Well, I drew 2 and bottom decked something. It just didn't stick.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was against black. I don't remember what kind of counterplay. I think it was the 5-drop counterplay that warps. Something that bypasses deflect. I don't remember exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But I did get to play it at least once today.
All right.
Yes, so this is your Timu defending friends.
The Earthling one.
Yeah, this complements the Gohan that we saw previously. And also the Senzu plays. It costs a lot. You have to hard cast this for 3, but it is a 3-cost, pretty much uninteractable by counterplays counter attack that also has a floodgate. There's not many counterplays that can deal with this thing while also not allowing it to proc the flood. I did not side this in today. I didn't feel like I needed it because Prospect was pretty much enough, and if I did side it today, I wouldn't have a chance to use it. I feel how the games went,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a pretty nice option to have in the side.
And then more desperate measures.
Well, this is essentially how you deal with floodgates your opponent plays. You don't have many options for it.
Mm-hmm.
The nice thing about this card is that if you choose one of your own cards to return to your hand, you can essentially ramp it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So this card is like a tiny bit more useful than you would think in Bulma. But if I'm playing against something that's blue or I know has a floodgate that costs or less, I'm probably siding this in. Or you could side this in against stuff like Boo or Daimaku to remove their 1-drops. Or try to like halt their game plan.
Did you do it today? Did you side it out
I think
in?
I think I placed it in against Freehan, but it didn't come up.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't draw it at all, I think. Okay, so you play around unisons more in this format. And it's easy for your unisons to stick. Sometimes your opponent like doesn't interact with it at all. So this is a free negate that doesn't negate the attack but bounces something to hand, ignored barrier, and you also stand an energy. So this is your Timu D magic.
Yeah.
Thing is that this is useful in very specific matchups because 15k power or less is pretty irrelevant right now when everything is a 20k attacker. However, it's relevant in some matchups like Panzino,
Mm-hmm.
like that Gohanji battle is 15k when it attacks, and you can just remove it with this, erase it. It has some niche uses. I think I put this in today at like one copy because I want to remove a prospect or something, but it didn't really come up, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
It has its specific uses though. I wouldn't consider removing this. It definitely has a place in this side. Right. So this is probably the spiciest card.
Yeah.
Okay. So thing is that there are a lot of decks that have things that attack twice or try to end you with like a specific boss monster, like the Green Gogeta or probably Daima or something. So you don't have many options of removing them or even stopping them, to be honest, because they either tax your hand or remove your board. So when they go into battle, assuming you can deal with their first swing, you can then play this at no cost because it withstands energy and prevent their second attack. And I think because your opponent might not expect this card to be an option, they could hard commit to one play that they don't get to have afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of a jump scare. So if I know my opponent is playing something with barrier that I can't remove, I'll probably remove Virus Destroys for this. Or yeah, or if I know I'm going to get aggroed by a body that I can't interact with in other ways, I'm just adding this as a resort.
Yeah. It
It's
works well
okay.
with a mirror as well for the Z battle card.
Yeah, that's true.
And then this is pretty self-explanatory, I think.
Yes,
Did you
you
use
need
it?
this. Yes, I did. I played it against the Gogeta Green today. Um, yeah, Dormant is a thing that hurts you a lot because you don't really want to be limited to one attack with this deck. So yeah, this is a silver bullet for specific decks. You wanna play around Time Magic, you wanna play around Dormant, you wanna play around some bullshit like that. So this is a silver bullet for those things.
Yeah, and it used to be better when Dimazi was alive, but yeah,
Yeah, well, Dormant is the number one enemy,
right
and
now.
you
Mhm.
use this card deal. Yeah,
And let's go to the Z deck.
yeah. This is pretty standard.
Yeah.
The 18 Unison is just busted. You play it in any deck that can spend 3 mana for it. The Goku Frieza, it's a pretty good Unison because it withstands energy, and you always have your Protector of the People alive. Like you
Heroic Prospect.
probably, yeah, your Prospect. I'm sorry, your Heroic Prospect live. So you probably play this during the turn you awaken if you can't really aggro or if you don't want to leave energy tapped out. You're probably going to this and then develop your aggro more comfortably. Your opponent won't really interact with this. Essentially, only one deck managed to remove this today, which was the Goku 18 deck, because
Mhm.
it can minus insane numbers. And he burned like 4 markers on this card in one turn. Um, but yeah, if you play this, you're mostly gonna replace this yourself later.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is the boss of the deck. You attack, activate main, activate battle, place an energy in draw, pre-stand this unlimited amount of times. When it's played, you bottom deck something, deflect barrier blocker. It's not especially hard for this card to be dealt with. Every color has some out to this. It's pretty hard for some colors to commit to do this or find the tools to do this. Like Eos pretty much doesn't interact with barrier at all. She can't really remove this unless she petrifies this or plays Evil Saiyan or something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it is a pretty powerful card. You're mostly gonna use this to end the game, I think. You're not really counting this on surviving on your opponent's turn, depending on the matchup, of course, but you use this to push for game.
And what your vector is due to this card?
Um, yeah, I think I beat the Aeos with this, and I also, well, I this and Yamcha, yeah, some
Mm-hmm.
combination. This attacked like 5 times on Aeos, I think. Well, this is your other out to removing Goku counter when when you can't bottom deck things. It also pretty matchup specific, but pretty good card,
Mm-hmm.
stable. This is your other out to switching up energy to active mode and also bottom decking something. It's less useful in Bulma than in other decks because it doesn't allow you to play defending friends just by being alive,
Mm-hmm.
like it can in other decks. But on demand energy switching, it's pretty fine. I mean, doing it on your opponent's turn even is pretty fine. When you're playing Bullman, you really need an energy up. Your opponent has to deal with this. So yeah, it's a pretty neat card. I wish this card came up more today. Like, I didn't get to play it. There wasn't really the situation for it. It is a pretty good card, though. Can be very good against black too, I guess. In this format,
Mm-hmm.
it can do a lot for just being a single card. It's kind of expensive, but for what it does, um, on the account of Bulma being able to spend 4 energy for pretty much uh, not like blinking, it's pretty powerful. I didn't get to play it today. No, I didn't really need to, but it can get you out of some pinches.
Okay.
I think this has also become a staple. Its biggest strength is dealing with things like the Bio Broly Z card by just expending one resource for it because you can hide it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, it has nice uses. It's definitely a useful card. Didn't have a use for it today, but I think it's pretty neat to have as an option.
Yep. And yeah,
And
pretty
yeah, this
standard.
is some people don't play this at all. Um, I just feel like it's a nice option to have because when you get some sort of flat gate, you have energy to spare. So it's nice being able to just play this out and have it there in case it comes up.
Yeah, so that's the deck. Would you change anything in your main deck?
Um, Probably increase the count of the concept rare unison.
Would
Um,
you take something out or you just increase the deck count?
no, I think I can take a prospect out for sure. But we're gonna have to test that. Either a prospect, probably a prospect. Yeah.
Any change in the Z deck or in the side deck?
Well, side deck depends on the meta. Right
Of course.
now, I'm pretty happy with it. I guess we'll see how it develops. Um, yeah, I think Bulma's position in this meta is pretty good. It's a pretty strong deck. You have a good matchup against things that don't have barrier as a blue deck.
Mm-hmm.
Against the newer decks like Eos, I think you have an okay matchup with her. She can flatgate you pretty hard, but you can play around it. She's gonna run out of resources first, I guess. You can out aggro her in the early game. On the turn I awakened today, I think the Eos player was at 3 life because I brought out Yamcha and started attacking. We did grind it for it because I couldn't close out the game how I wanted earlier. He found his negates and then he found his Vegetos to tax me for playing things and I couldn't really play, so we did drag it out. I won in the end, but you can definitely pressure her pretty significantly. Even by her becoming a 20 or 25k base leader, you can still swing pretty confidently into her. You have a pretty rough matchup with green decks. You had an especially rough matchup with Boo that could hide behind barrier blockers and play Dormant. So
Not
it's
anymore.
pretty. Yeah, not anymore. So there aren't many decks that can do that right now. I think you can confidently play against Gogeta. He can hit you pretty hard, but you have outs to what he can do. He can dish out a lot of attacks, and you're gonna have to tax him with prospect for it, and uh, other things. You will protector of the people and whatnot. And his hand size isn't that big, so you can start pressuring him a lot. And if he is unlucky and doesn't get his all of his dormants up, or if you can play around his floodgates, like I got floodgated by the uneasing awakened raids.
Mm-hmm.
But I did fight through it. I placed 3-4 cards in my Z energy just to keep attacking and pressure. And you'll eventually get there with a bit of luck and finding your silver bullets and him not finding all of his floodgate pieces when he needs them.
Yeah.
Um, I think my toughest matchup today was with the Goku Android 18
Mm-hmm.
because we both have battle tricks. Um, and we both can remove each other's board pretty confidently every turn. So it's kind of a grand game. That deck plays also the new power release from BT31, which is an insane extra card right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think it boosted the deck quite a lot. I didn't expect it to be that useful, to be honest. Also, my opponent Jonesy plays this deck really well, knows what he's doing. So we did reach overtime for it. Did play the Broly secret. Uh, I'm okay with losing to that. It was a pretty grindy game, and maybe I could have played better. Maybe switch up my playstyle around it, but it is definitely one of the matchups to look out for because the way the decks interact with each other, uh, it's pretty hard to make the right decisions, right? Because you gotta predict what he's gonna draw in trash, what he's gonna find from top deck. There's a lot of options that deck has, and a lot of options you have as well. So pretty weird matchup. We'll have to test out more. Um,
But you did pretty good against the newer decks like Gogeta and Eos.
yeah. Eos, you just wanna go late against. Gogeta, it's just a green deck. You don't wanna get dormant every turn, I
Mm-hmm.
guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. About the other decks, I guess this deck doesn't really care much for Janemba. Um, this deck probably doesn't care that much against Gogeta too.
The red one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And about launch, honestly, and copy Vegeta, honestly, I'm not really sure how it fares against. Probably fares better than them than it does with Daimaku, which has a lot of barriers and a lot of pressure. But yeah, your worst matchups are probably something that's yellow and has a pretty powerful core that can keep you stunned instead of removing your cards, and probably against something green that can abuse dormant, in my
Mm-hmm.
opinion.
Mm-hmm. All right. If you don't have anything else to add to this, would you keep playing this deck moving forward in the next competitive maybe tournaments, or you think you're changing?
Well, I'll definitely want to try some new BT31 decks that I don't have the cards for at this moment. But I like Bulma a lot. I think it's a solid deck, and it's very rewarding playing it and playing it well. It's kind of hard to always make the right decisions with it. It's very hard to break. I did break today, but it's very hard. It's a very consistent deck, all in all. And I like this version a lot. I'll probably keep playing it and testing with the new stuff. Maybe take a break to play some newer stuff as well, but this is definitely one of my main decks at the moment.
Was this your first time topping with this deck?
For a top that matters, yes. We also have some top 32s, but that doesn't really matter because top 16 has a pricing, right? So, and top 8 doesn't have a pricing or has the same, doesn't have anything extra, right? So, counting top 16 and better, this is my first time with Bulma. Yes.
Nice.
The online regionals are pretty brutal in Swiss. You have to do one loss only to get in the talks of topping higher and getting to the next threshold, which is top 4, which is pretty hard to do. You need good tiebreakers as well. So yeah, if we say that top 16 is a significant result, yeah, this was the first time.
All right. Congratulations, Decclesia. Thank you for this deck profile, and we hope to see you again topping and showing us what you've made.
Yeah, hope I can do that. Hope I can bring more top 64 red Videls your way. I know
Red
that
Videls, nice.
I know that you like that card.
Of course.
Yeah, so I've won quite a few for you.
Yeah, you
The
have.
past
I think you've won for everyone.
Yeah, yeah.
Copies.
So if anyone has any questions about the deck, we'll be pretty happy to answer in the comments and whatnot.
Yeah, and I will also link this the deck profile at the description as well.
Yeah, they're probably gonna upload it as well, so we'll update the description for sure.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for having me.